What is going on, guys? Welcome back for another video. Justin here at RCA Garage. Today we have a E90 BMW. We're going to throw on some Silver's Neomax coilovers. So Silver's recently broke into the market here and they're making a lot of noise. Best bang for the buck on the market, hands down. These Silvers we've installed on our own personal cars as well as a lot of customers, and they're excellent. I cannot say enough about them. Customizable, so you can do custom spring rates, you can do a super low kit or just the standard kit. But nonetheless, they are amazing. We do have deals right now, so head on over to RCA Garage and see if there's a setup for you and for your car. So we're gonna head into the shop and we're gonna start taking off the stock suspension and start installing the new coilovers. Frankie has already started with the front. He's removing the right side. We'll get into that, show you guys what you have to disconnect, what you have to remove and everything, how to remove like the sensors. So here's those Neomax coilovers. I really like the way that they did the collars, so you're not gonna slip and break your knuckles. This is the rear setup. So the rear setup has like a spring, then it has a spring perch as well. So you're gonna set your height by the spring perch and make sure everything's good there, and then you can adjust your rear shock to match this so you don't have any variations or anything, so this isn't clunking around. We're gonna set it to about 0 preload. So in the kit, you get the wrenches here, you get a couple of these little Allens, some nice little stickers. Everybody knows stickers make your car go faster. So you're gonna have, this is an ABS wire. This is gonna go up into this section here. So you unclip that, and to unclip those, you have to push in on the sides. So you're gonna take it and push in on the sides and just pull it right out. So that's that there. And then you also have right here, there's a clip. So you have this little clip. You're gonna take this off with a pair of pliers. Get that off of there. That way you have full range of movement with the brake caliper. And then when we try to drop this thing down and get it out of this pinch bolt, so there's a nut and a bolt right there that clamp the OEM shock to the knuckle here. So when we drop this down, we're gonna have a jack supporting it so that we're not straightening that axle. You don't ever wanna pull out the axle boots. So there's that side, and then coming over to the other side, we have basically the same thing, but this one has a wear indicator. So you're going to take that off of the caliper there. And then you're also going to take off that wheel speed sensor there. So both of those are going to be located in that box. Disconnect that sway bar end link, disconnect the shock, and then do the same thing, support this side. That way you, again, don't stretch out that axle. You also have this height sensor here, so you have to disconnect that as well. So there's a 10mm bolt right there. So we're going to take that off, that way we don't break that sensor there. So that goes up and around the axle and everything. So when you drop that down, if you don't disconnect this, this will snap off. On each side you have these little bars. You're going to take this off. It's going to be a inverted Torx, and it's a E16. So go ahead and just loosen those guys up. And once those are loose, you can now access the bolt back here and the other two bolts to remove this stock suspension. So this will just be able to move over. Requires a little bit of force, but you can move it pretty easily. So I got some PB Blaster, and getting in there, going back and forth. So now we can take this nut off. You just take a punch and a hammer, and you center the punch in here. Give it a couple taps, it should come straight out. With the old and with the new, these things were bottoming out on the bump stops. These fronts are blowing pretty good. And these are almost maxed out, maybe like an inch or so of threads left. So these are obviously gonna be raised up a little bit. Because on the car we're gonna do like a no gap, no tuck. He wants to have good clearance and everything. So we're gonna put the top of the tire like right by the fender arch. So Frankie's just tightening up this top head up top. We'll torque this down after you're done once the vehicle's weight is on the car. And it's going to be, what was it, 35 foot-pounds?
34 Newton meters.
34 Newton meters. There you go. So you got to make sure that your camber plates are lined up correctly. They're going to be straight on with the car. So otherwise, if they're facing forwards or backwards, you're going to have caster adjustment, not camber adjustment. I'm not sure if you can put them in backwards, but just wanted to clarify with you guys if this is the correct way. So on the silvers, they have these two pieces right here. That's going to go in that groove right there on the knuckle. So you're going to rotate this back over. Just jack this up, the jack that you have. Make sure it's lined up. Once you stop at the knuckle, you're good to go. Now you can put that bracket back on there. So this bracket's going to go up and around like so, leaning against the coilover. So the bolt's going to go through. You got the nut. So you're going to set that to 81 Newton meters. 81 Newton meters. So the sway bar link up here, this guy is going to be, what was the torque spec, Frankie?
21 Newton
21 Newton meters. Then you have this bolt here. We torque that down to 81 Newton meters. You got the top bolts up on top. Those are supposed to be 34 Newton meters. So those are basically the main things you have to torque down on the front, but the front is all good. Go ahead and shine a light in here. So you have all the clearance in the world. One of the biggest things when you guys get this kit, the right side, see how this is kind of bent here? This has a bend and faces upwards. You can only put these in really one way, otherwise the sway bar will contact. See if we can get a better view on the side over here. So that's going to be the bracket for the driver's side. This is going to be the passenger side. So you're going to have two bolts. These guys right here holding in this lower mount for the shock. It's going to be an E14. It's a inverted Torx. You're also going to have these bolts here on the control arm. This is going to be a 21. Backside's an 18. So loosen those guys up because you're going to bring the this control arm down and then take out the spring that way. And then also undo here as well. On the driver's side, you can kind of see it up there. It is a height sensor, so you got to remove that as well. It's just a little 10 millimeter tucked up on the top there. This is the bracket here for that height sensor. There's a little 10 mil on the top. It's gonna be on the control arm right there. This is the driver's side rear. Now we're gonna take the upper off. So there's an upper bolt up there. We'll show you on the inside. And then you're gonna transfer this mount over to the silver. This mount seems to be in good condition. There's no like crazy cracks. So this is definitely reusable. So the silvers, they give you two of these washers. So you take off one of them. You're gonna run this one, the OEM one on the bottom. This is gonna go up into the car through the hole. And then on the top side, you're gonna have another bushing. That's gonna go on the top side, and washer on top. And then you're gonna have the silver nut. So the silvers comes with a nut here. This is gonna be tightened down on the top, like so. So this is gonna be the body here. This is the mount. It's going to be a 17 millimeter. Make sure you're holding the shock and the mount itself. So this is the back of the shock here. It's a 14 millimeter on the silvers. It's going to be 27 newton meters for the torque on there. So Silver's really thought of everything. They have this little piece here underneath of that adjuster. So you can throw on a wrench up here and you can torque that top nut. That looks so good. This is the final, about 0.07 toe in, 1.5 for front camber. Casters at 812 and 836, it's not adjustable. Rear toes at 0.08, 0.07, and then the camber is negative 2.7. That's for best fitment. Thank you, Frankie, for helping out today.
For sure, man. And thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like,
comment,
and subscribe.
See you guys in the next one.
Thank
Peace.
You.